Hello and welcome. My name is Tom. This is the Enthusiasm Project, Season 4, Episode 16. And today I've got a lovely, lovely guest. You'll never guess who, actually, here with me to help me go through today's topic, because when we're talking about the fun of YouTube, there's nobody else I think of besides my wife, Heather Ramirez.
Because I'm so fun.
Yeah.
Hello.
Hello. How are you?
I'm good.
So today, this was your idea, this topic, because I was like, geez, it's Sunday and should really have a podcast for tomorrow, especially after releasing that course where I talk about podcast consistency. Probably don't want to miss a week after that. So you had a great idea, though, because the idea of fun on YouTube is really important. And I think you and I are both, it's like we're sort of, I don't want to say going in opposite directions, but like.
Yeah, I feel that.
You know what I mean?
I do know what you mean.
Okay. Because here's a little bit of context for everybody out there. Heather, which is what we'll talk about right now. Like you just, I don't know, 6 minutes ago finished working on a video project, right?
Yes.
Do you want to, I mean, this will be out on Monday. Your video will be out on Tuesday.
Oh, yeah. Tuesday.
This episode will be out on Monday.
Yeah.
Your video will be out on Tuesday.
May 4th.
But anyone who's listening beyond May the 4th be with you will...
Could just, what? Yeah. So it's premiering on Tuesday, May 4th at 12 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. But, I mean, it'll be a YouTube video.
On youtube.com/HeatherJustCreate.
Yes.
So I know you probably don't want to go in and spoil too much or whatever, but... Just talking about the video and the process, and like it's the longest. Is it the longest video you've ever made?
I think so. Like pre-recorded, yeah.
Yeah. Not a live stream, and it's the most complicated, right? Is it it's the most complicated?
Like hands down. I thought, okay, so before this, the most complicated video, the hardest video that I don't know how to say that. It's like the hardest video that I've made, like in my YouTube career. Yeah. The amount, like in terms of effort, time, thought, creativity, all of that. Before this video, it was the video that I used to propose to you.
Which was very worth all that effort.
Yes, I'm very proud. Still very, very proud.
But that video, how long is that video? It's like 6 minutes?
It's like, no, not even 4 minutes.
4 minutes.
4 minutes and 30
this
seconds.
One that you just did is 50 minutes?
51 minutes.
Wow. So there's a couple things there. It's a really long video. I remember you drafting it out. We spent like a week total on it, I guess.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like hours.
Right. I mean,
like literally, I lost sleep.
For a week.
I
all day, every day.
Woke up 4:30, 5 a.m. to work on it.
And so I remember when you had the idea and you were just outlining it. You wrote pages and pages of notes, and you were thinking like, I don't even know if this is going to be a video.
Yeah. And then the more I thought about it, the more I was like scared, because my initial, this would be a great video idea turned into, this is way more. Like the expectations just kept going higher and higher and higher. And I got more nervous that I wouldn't be able to create the thing that I just didn't have the skill set to make it happen. Yeah.
No, that makes sense, because it was a big, ambitious idea. It's different from anything that you've done in the past.
Yeah.
But the whole time you've been working on it, you've been having a blast.
I can't. Oh my God, I can't tell. Like I have a giant smile on my face. Yeah. This whole process really has been like, I feel reborn as a YouTube creator. Like
Born again.
Yeah, seriously. Like I'm actually having fun, and not even like, of course, everything we do is fun. Sure. Everything we do is fun. This is fun. But this was just like, I can't even sleep. I'm so excited about what I'm making here.
And it seems like with this, whenever you ran into a problem, you weren't like, oh no, there's a problem. It was sort of like, how could I fix it? Like, what's the solution?
Gosh, it's the best. I haven't felt this way about making YouTube videos since like 2016.
So you're excited about it. You're going to put it out on your channel. And what are do you have expectations for it, for people's responses, for performance? Do you care? I know that's kind of what the video talks about.
Yeah. So I can honestly say that the experience of making this video has just been so fulfilling to me and so rewarding to me that I honestly don't care how it performs. And I know, I know how that sounds. I know how that comes off like, oh, I don't really care about the numbers. But honestly, I really don't.
Like it's already a success.
Yeah, like the fact that you saw it is really all that matters.
I've seen it twice.
Yeah, no, thank you. You're the sweetest soul ever. But honestly, like the only person that I wanted to see it was you, because you truly understand what I'm trying to.
Right.
Like basically, I was trying to. I feel like I had all these thoughts about, the progress of my YouTube career and my business. And I feel like I was able to sum it up and be like, Tom, this is what I'm thinking.
It's like a thesis.
Yeah. Like I could sit here and talk about it on the couples table and podcast all day, but it's like it takes too long to get to organic thought. And I felt like we had enough conversations where I could put it together in a very clearly outlined, succinct, edited video, because, video.
Well, we looked it up, and according to the Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Sciences, a real life story, this would count as a documentary, and it's over 40 minutes long, so it's a feature length documentary.
Yeah, I don't know if I want to call it a documentary just for me to be able to say that it's so different from what I've made. But it's my story, so I don't know, vlogumentary.
Oh, vlogumentary.
Vlogumentary.
So the reason that I bring that up, we'll get into this because this was your idea, was
we woke up in very different moods today.
I have been struggling a little bit, knowing that all is well and everything's okay. But since I quit my job and moved on, which is about 6 weeks ago now, basically all of my stuff has just been going down. Like everything has been, in terms of the numbers and all the stuff that your new video is like, these are things we shouldn't concern ourselves with. But all of those things are not doing well in comparison to how they had been doing. Also how I would like them to do, considering that it is now my job. And we've talked about the idea that once something goes from being your hobby to your job, there's a different pressure. Now, I know that overall upward trends have peaks and valleys and plateaus. And I've been through plateaus on the channel. I've been through valleys on the channel before, but never where it felt like the stakes were what they are. And it's messing with me.
How so? Explain.
So it's messing with me in a few ways, which is I've been very excited because it's been great and I get to work on all this stuff and I've had all these ideas and I've been working really hard on the videos, and every video I make, according to YouTube, is underperforming, which is not something I usually care about because, when you upload your video and YouTube will say this is 8 out of 10, this is 1 out of 10. If it's number 1, you get little fireworks. If it's under 7, they tell you like why it sucks. I can't remember the last video that wasn't above 8 out of 10. Which normally, or at least I should say pre-leaving my job, that never really bothered me because especially I had kind of my own metrics where, it was based on numbers, but it was like, okay, if it kind of hits this point by about, the middle or the end of the first day, I'm happy. And every video pretty much exceeds those. My expectations aren't too high. But so I look at it and I'm like, I made the video, I really like it. Maybe not as many people as I would like are seeing it, but the people who are seeing it are liking it, and the community is there and the response is there, and yay, it's all good, and I'm happy about that. And that's normally how it's been. However, now that also means a downturn in revenue. That also means a downturn in the potential for the channel to grow, and it feels like it's so hard with videos because you never know when a video is going to do well or not do well or suddenly stop or suddenly start. So you just can make the best videos you can make. And like, I enjoy all my videos. I've had fun with all my videos. But outside of the videos, I feel like, oh my gosh, I've been so excited about like the podcast and doing all this stuff, adding in a video component, building up a Patreon, building up channel memberships, like all of these different things. And it feels like the more I try and the more effort I put into those things, the worse they do. Because like the more that I'm active on Patreon channel memberships, the more people leave, which could be because maybe somebody signed up for Patreon a year ago, forgot, and then suddenly they get emails that are like, Tom Buck posted this, Tom Buck posted that. And they're like, oh, no, I forgot I was even paying for that, which is fine. It's not like if you sign up, you have to, it's sign up and support as long as you want and then leave whenever you want. But it's really frustrating when I'm really proud because prior to doing that stuff, Patreon and channel memberships, I always ask people like, is it worth it? And a lot of people would say like, well, some people, like so many people don't provide anything. It's basically a tip jar, which is fine. And that's kind of how I used it for a long time. But it's like, to make it really worth my while, you'd want to offer stuff. And I didn't want to overextend myself, but I think I've been doing so good about like, here's live streams, here's videos, here's posts, here, like tons of extra stuff that's just for those people, like way more than what it says you're going to get when you sign up. And that makes me really happy because it's like, it's really fun to do. It's almost like having a second channel without having a second channel. Like it's fun. But then the more I do it, people just leave, which is frustrating. And then I work on the videos and they don't do well. And then for whatever reason, like overall, even though I can't, like every time I release a new video, the overall channel views still go down and the overall revenue still like everything still goes down. Even though I keep throwing more coal into the fire, everything is decreasing. The course came out, course is doing super well, at least in terms of the launch and stuff. So I'm not really counting that because that also has a whole like months long build up behind it. So that's been doing really well. But everything else has actually been doing bad. And it's really it's scary and stressful. And it's really frustrating because it feels like the more effort I put in, the less people like it. And that sucks.
Yeah.
So I don't know. That's how I feel.
I'm sorry.
Obviously not you who's listening to this right now. I'm talking about the other people.
Yeah, I know. I mean, it's hard for me to say anything just because I know how you feel, but also I have, this is my 5th year doing this, and I know how this feels. I've pushed through the other side of this. I've,
there's no choice.
There have been times where I felt this way, and then all of a sudden everything goes up, and then.
I mean, like I said, I've been through these situations before, but never in this context, and never putting in this much effort. And I don't have enough experience doing it on my own to feel confident in like, oh, well, the channel had a bad month, but overall things are still fine and stable. And that's where it's like, I haven't gotten to that point yet. So it all feels like red alert kind of stuff, even though it's not. And that makes it just puts me in a bad mood and it makes me frustrated. And then it's hard to like go, I want to do this thing. And it's like, I even have the thought, I'm going to make this video. It's going to be super cool. And it's just going to do terribly. And
well, okay. So I have a couple things to say.
Sure.
First of all, I have a feeling there's nothing that I can say that's going to make you feel better. If all your numbers went up, that's going to make you feel better. There's nothing that I'm going to say. I'm just, pat on the back, and that's the most I can do. But I do want to say that I was talking to my brother this morning, and I mentioned, like, he was asking how you were, and I was like, well, I think the honeymoon phase has faded. Which in terms, not our honeymoon phase. We're still going. But
being able to be in charge of my own time, my schedule and stuff, that has not faded. But now anything that
there's a pressure.
Yeah, and the channel underperforming in a way makes me feel like that is now threatened, like which it isn't at the moment, but
yeah,
that's how it feels.
Well, okay, so here's what I'll say. I have a lot to say. I think the goal when you are doing your own thing for your job is, like, I think the key, the primary goal over anything else is longevity, right? Because we're going to be here for a while. And if you are feeling this way forever, it is worse than working for somebody else, because you might as well work for someone else, work, half the amount of effort that you're putting in, and get a guaranteed paycheck. Like, you're going to drive yourself to oblivion if you're just constantly staring at these stupid red arrows from YouTube saying, like, you're not good enough over and over. The other thing I'll say is that, and my video talks about this a little bit, but I hate YouTube's, I hate their whole, like, 1 of 10, 2 of 10. So if you don't know this, when you upload on YouTube, YouTube will actually on your homepage of the Creator Studio,
unavoidably,
will tell you how your most recent video is performing compared to the rest of your channel, I think.
Well, compared to your 10 most recent videos.
Is it the 10 most recent? Yeah. So it'll say like, oh, this video is 1 of 10. So it's like the highest performing video out of your last 10 videos that you've uploaded. And I get it. And I am definitely a proponent of analytics and metrics can help guide the strategy and help you help you create content that your community is looking for. Mm-hmm. But I also think that YouTube has a vested interest in making it so that you are creating content that forces people to be on there and forces people to who cares what the content, they don't care. They don't care what the content is or who is impacted and how their lives are being transformed. Their, goals are totally different from yours. So when you put your heart and soul into making a video that you're proud of, and then freaking this platform over here is like, hey, guess what? 8 out of 10. Well, yeah, on your terms, but my terms, it was a 10 out of 10 or 1 out of 10.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I think that the scary part of making your creative endeavor be your job is that it's very easy to lose the, it's easy to lose the thing that made it so special in the first place that allowed you to even take the leap at all. And I think it's just, I know it comes with experience and realizing that, the numbers decreasing doesn't mean we're done. Doesn't mean that this is over, but it's just, it's about just like, okay, let's push through. And let's keep the spark, How do we keep
so
this
many
fun?
of the people that I admire on the platform, they've been going, for years and years and years, and they don't have necessarily millions and millions. Their channel's not that big, and it's not even about that. So when I say the video didn't get enough views or not enough people, it's not that. It's that affects other things. That does directly affect revenue.
Yeah, but that's not going to change.
No, I know, but it also goes into everything else because then the number of views also affects the number of affiliate clicks. It also affects the number of people who would even be able to know that a course or a podcast exists or something. So it branches out into everything else. And like I said, it's fine. And I know that. And which is weird because the numbers for April financially were fine. It was still the best month yet, actually, by a couple dollars. But every time there's a good month, I found myself sort of rationalizing it why that can't continue to be the case. So, for example, April, a lot of the revenue streams were down. But the month overall was the highest. April. What the heck? Oh, but I did my course launch on April 30th.
Which you're not going to do next month.
And the course launch injected, all of those things, all the people that bought on launch day, that jumped into April revenue and then took it from what would have been an okay month to the best month ever. And so then I look into May and I'm like, well, there's not going to be a course launch. Yeah. But it is May. But the deadline... If you're listening to this, it's too late, so this is not an ad. You can still buy the course. Go to podcasterplaybook.com. But as we're recording this on Sunday, the deadline to get the $50 off price is tonight. So people are buying it this afternoon because time is running out to get it for cheaper. So in my mind, I'm already thinking, okay, cool. Now that's great. That's big revenue for April. But then when June runs around, I'm going to think, okay, that big thing. There's just always a way for me. Whenever something good happens like that, I just find myself justifying why it's not a good reason to think that things are okay and it won't keep happening. If ad revenue goes up for a month, it's that was just a fluke. I don't know if you know what I mean. But
I do know what you mean. Yeah.
So it's even though it's this weird thing where all the numbers I see daily are down. They have the dumb red arrows and they have the messages that say people aren't interested in this video. What is it telling me right now? Oh, it just gave up on even telling me anything about my video. But it was people are not interested in this in this video or topic or whatever. I'm all right. And And so all I see is down, 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 down. But then I look at the end of the month things and it's up overall. And I'm like, okay, that's good. But it's very confusing to like, it's very confusing. I don't know. That's all I can say about that.
Yeah.
So going back then to our topic then of fun, because historically this has sort of been flipped where I'm just like, I'm going to make a video. I don't give an F about like how it performs because I want to make this video and somebody's going to giggle at a dumb joke. And you're over there like buried under strategy, like planning yourself into oblivion.
Yeah.
And now it's sort of like we have Freaky Friday'd it into like switching.
And I don't, I think the way that you're feeling is you're about to hit 66,000. Like, you didn't even tell me you hit 65.
Well, I know, but you've been on a kick of not celebrating milestones.
No, but
so I don't want you to work for a week on a video that's like, hey, there's more things to what it means to be a successful creator. But I also know I don't want to focus on vanity metrics.
Okay, so let me just tell you a little bit about what the video is to the listeners, and then because you have no idea. So the video is called "Making a Living on YouTube," and it basically, it's I guess a reflection of my 5 years as a YouTube creator, giving this my all, and whether I am successful or not 5 years later. Mm-hmm. And one of the things that I talk about is that there are other ways to be successful on YouTube aside from amassing a crazy amount of subscribers and monetizing off of AdSense, affiliates, or brand sponsorships. There's just other ways. And I wasn't aware of those other ways. I learned other ways. And now, I see more than ever that success on YouTube is not based on the number of subscribers that you have. Mm-hmm. And so that's not to say that, you have a large audience and growing. So I think for you, you can use the model that we know of.
I know that. I know that.
Nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. I know, darling, like I am not going to get to your level. I have accepted that and I'm okay with it. I don't see myself ever getting 100,000. It's just not, if you guys may have heard me say this before, but I don't think that Tom's going to get to like 500,000 subscribers. I'd be really surprised. And it has nothing to do with, whether he's capable or not. There's just content that I feel like has more mainstream appeal. Mm-hmm. And then there's content that just doesn't,
right?
Which it's not that you don't.
I'm not offended. Okay. I'm the one who said this first. It's fine.
Yeah, and so for me, I feel the same way. I just don't think that my content is like critical mass type. It just, I don't know, whatever it isn't.
Yeah.
But the people that are there, I love you guys. Like we're having a great time, and I love what I do. And so I'm just saying, my thesis in that video is that there's just other ways to do it, and I'm excited about these other ways.
Well, which is 100% true. And it's just me being typical me and operating out of fear, which is that I really like what I'm doing and I just want to keep doing what I'm doing. And anything that seems as an indication that might not be possible or that it could, I just view things as being a threat to that. And that's what scares me. So when I see the numbers go down, it's not like, well, I want to hit the big number and I want to do this. It's, I want to be able to keep doing this. And this scares me. This just scares me. Even though it doesn't actually mean anything in terms of whether or not that would be a possibility. It's scary.
Well, here, let me explain.
It's like, okay, if back when I was teaching and I was going to let, at the start of every class, I would stand at my door and I would watch my students come in.
Yeah.
If my principal had walked by every day and just frowned at me, I would think I am not going to be getting good reviews. I'm not doing a good job. They're not going to want to renew my contract. Even if then I go into his office and he's like, hey, great job. Love having you here. You're the best. Which, like, he never frowned at me or anything. But it's just an example of, like, my daily indicators are, it's not super strong, not super strong. My long-term indicators are that everything is fine. But the day to day, because I like it so much, I just want to be able to keep doing it.
So this is how I felt for the past 5 years.
Right. Okay. It's probably how everybody feels.
This is how I felt. And it sucks because it's like I quit with no freaking momentum. I quit my job at 0. I had 0 like 1, 5 maybe, college friends, whatever. But I had no plan. I was just willing to figure it out, and I truly believed that eventually I would just figure it out, or if anything, worst comes to worst, I go get a job.
Right.
Big deal, But the one thing that I could say, I'll tell you this. Let me tell you this, okay? I can't remember when it was. It must have been the couples table, but you brought to my attention that this was my 5th year doing this.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember we must have been live, so I couldn't react the way that I was actually truly feeling. I haven't even told you this. And my instinct was to dismiss that, to make it seem like it was shorter. 4 years, maybe 3.5, 4 years. Why? Yeah, why? Because I feel like, damn, you've been working at this for 5 years and you've gotten nowhere. Like, Tom's been doing this in half the amount of time and it's at 65,000 subscribers. Why haven't you given up? Like, what do you have to show for yourself? That's how I felt. And I was like, it's because of this. It's because, like, okay, the numbers are the thing that dictates everything. Mm-hmm. And I'm just so used to, like, feeling like I'm not good enough because my numbers aren't there. And so this is kind of a reason why I made the video, was because I wanted to maybe instead of telling you, was to tell me that it's not my success should not be determined on my numbers. Like, that shouldn't be it. And I just needed to declare it to myself, like, okay, dude, yeah, you haven't, you're not at, I don't know, 50,000 subscribers or whatever number I think is going to make me happy, but you are happy. You are doing what you love. You're working for yourself. You're making an impact. Like, you found the love of your life. You have a business together. Like, what else do you want?
I know. And
that's why, like, when I came to that realization of I'm trying to hide how long I've been doing this. How embarrassing is that? Like, for me, like, how I can't believe that this is something I'm wanting to hide. And so I think I began the process of writing this video with that in mind. And I was like, this is stupid. Why am I not proud of this? Like, I'm very proud of what I've done. And so, my approach and the way I look at everything when it comes to YouTube completely changed, especially after I finished this video. This is why I truly don't care how it performs, because the fact that I went through this transformation in the process of making this video was worth it. Mm-hmm. Totally, totally worth it. And, because of this transformation, truly, I just don't care about the numbers. That's what allowed me to make this video as good as I believe that it is, because I don't care. Like, I didn't even think of, how long is this video? Which is something that it's always a question that's looming over my head when I make videos. It's like, okay, if I'm going to make a tutorial, it has to be, digestible. It has to be succinct. It can't be too long. I cut out the intro. I cut out this. I don't ask people to subscribe and blah, blah, blah. And I try to make it as short and succinct as possible. And I didn't even think about nothing. Like, there was no point in this video of, like, what is going to keep people's attention? What is, what's going to get them to stick around? Everything that I approached this video was, how do I tell a good story so that I can look at it and be like, yes, this accurately described how I feel. And it's a totally different approach.
That's how it should be.
Totally different approach to, I have made hundreds of videos, YouTube videos at this point. Hundreds. Like, maybe even thousands. Like, I'm sure I've breached that mark between all the live streams and everything. And I've never approached it that way. And that's why I think that you said, when you started this podcast that we are going in opposite directions, and I feel bad for how you feel because I know how that feels, but I'm so happy where I am.
Well, where are you going to go from here then? So let me ask you that. Like, now that you've done this, you've had a realization, a revelation, you made this video.
Yeah.
But there's always the next video. So like what's next? And I know you've got your 2 channels where there's always the like,
yeah, this one or that one.
yeah. So like what is next with this new mindset?
Well, okay. So this is spoiling the video a little bit, but go watch it because it's going to be awesome. But basically, I don't want to make most of my income off of YouTube directly, meaning affiliates, AdSense, and brand sponsorships. The most common or most popular way, the most business model of being a YouTube creator.
All the things that are stressing me out, yes.
Yeah, I'm not into that, bro, because there's just too many, it's too unpredictable, it's too volatile?
Volatile?
Yeah, that word. There's too many things out of your control. I don't think I'm good enough, honestly, when it comes to, the kind of content that I make and my ability to create content. I mean, I think I definitely leveled up after this video that I made.
You're good. Yeah.
But okay, if we look at let's business 101, okay? What's your market? Who are your customers? What's your business model, and how are you distributing your, whatever it is that you're selling? Okay, distribution on YouTube taken care of. Who's your market? You figured out your market. You know who your customers are. You have a community that's there. The business model, what is the freaking business model? This is the thing that I think is so annoying, is that the way to make money on YouTube, the thing that you are selling are your videos. So you have to make as many videos as you can for as many people as you can, and you just get stuck in this like, I have to make videos and I have to get views and I have to get videos and I have to get views and I have to increase the watch time because that is how I make money. That is not a sustainable business model. Are you kidding? Like, there's too many things out of your control. What if another YouTube person pops up that is better than you, And I'm not saying that this is going to happen to you. I firmly believe, and I always have since the first time I met you, that you can make a career out of this, a very sustainable, long career out of this. And I think that opportunities are going to come. And I think that's unfortunately not something that you can plan for. But just like we met, I know the opportunities will come. Brands will reach out. Who knows what will happen, right? Clients might, who knows, right? For me, though, if I know that I'm just not capable of succeeding at that business model, I'm going and doing something else, which is to offer services and products for people who want to make a living doing what they love, using YouTube. But YouTube is not the business model. It's part of it.
It's a means to an end.
It's a means to an end. It's not the end goal. That's the biggest difference. YouTube is not the end goal. It's a means to an end. And that, when I realized that, when I claimed that, when I took ownership of that, I started crying. Like, literally, I started crying to Tom because I
couldn't tell if you were sad or happy.
I feel like I've been choking myself this whole time. My poor self. Like, I can't believe I just really tried to choke this to life. And like, look how creative I've been. I straight up feel like I'm a different person, and the pressure is totally gone. I'm making more money, which is weird. Like, I mean, that's what I was hoping. So for me, it's like,
that's a good thing.
If my goal is to make a living doing what I love, then I need to start at step 1, which is, what's the business model? How are you going to bring in money? What's my skill set? What am I offering? Products and services, blah, de, da, de, da. And to me, I am not going to play the game. I refuse to play this game of, I just need to make as many videos as I can and get as much watch time as I can so I can get paid the way that YouTube dictates the way that I'm going to get paid. I love YouTube. I freaking love this platform. It's nothing against them, but this is the way that they want you to do it. And I just refuse to do it. And they're adding more. Hey, we're going to do memberships. We're going to do super chats. We're going to do these other things. Yeah, you're taking 40% of the freaking income. Get out of town. You know what? Clearly, this whole thing is set up where you need to have, let's call it, at least 50 to 100,000 subscribers for you to see success off of the YouTube business model. I'm just not going to get there. Or it'd be great. If I got there, great. I don't see a path to certainty. Like there's no clear path to me. So to me, what I would rather do is I want to make a living doing what I love on my terms, and I've found the way to do that.
Well, that makes me super excited.
I don't know if does that make sense?
It does make sense. It does make sense, and it also makes it more accessible because I think you and I were excited at first when we were like, yeah, you could do this with under 100,000 subscriber channel. That's much more in the reach of people than they would expect. But now you can take it even further and be like, you don't even need 50, 40, 30. Like you can.
Hey, I'm at 10. I'm at 10,000. Yeah, like vlog channels at 10,000, tutorial channels like at 2,800.
So your future tutorials, like you still make tutorials like you've been, but they're just sort of framed differently, I guess. Mm-hmm.
Yep. So basically, I am going to rebrand myself where, my tutorial channel is tutorials on how to grow a YouTube channel. Like that's what it currently is. Mm-hmm. But for me, I'm not trying to help you
be.
Yeah.
Mr.
I'm not
Beast.
trying to hear. Yeah. I am not here to try to help you be the biggest or the best. I am just here to help you build a community and to build a business model that incorporates building a community on YouTube.
Right.
But it's not, you could do this with at least as many subscribers as I have.
I think that what got in my head, other than just the stuff I've talked about, was it's not like everything was great and growing and then everything wasn't. It was sort of like one metric would be down. The next metric is down. Third and fourth. And then like it's just sort of like that slow burn, and then things got down. And I had been feeling, because you said this, you were like, if you didn't do anything different on your YouTube channel at all, to me you said this, if it would just at least sustain, like where it's at, where it's going to be, so it can only go up. And that's kind of what I was operating on, which I mean I guess is somewhat true, but also it like isn't true. And I guess that's the thing that's frustrating, is I thought like, okay, at least I can sustain this level just by what the infrastructure that's in place will sustain it to a certain level, and then I can build and grow and innovate on that on my own terms, however I want. And this is sort of realizing that might not be the case, because question mark, like, who knows why. And I'm still very much in the midst of my Joel Haver obsession. So sorry for going back into this, but to those of you who listened to that episode a couple weeks ago, I talked all about that. But what's really exciting, looking at someone now who just has 1.08 million subscribers, but up until December of last year had under 3,000. Going back and seeing old stuff, especially when it comes to like Patreon was a big thing for him, and he had this Patreon community, posted stuff for it. It was like pretty active, but you can see literally like there's videos where he puts at the end of the video and it has like 8 names, and he's just like, he treats that exactly the same as now when there's 8 pages of names, because there's just hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people that can't even fit. And part of me is like, okay, maybe focusing on all this extra stuff, because honestly, like, I mean, in a way, if my channel was doing better before I was trying to do more things with it, in a way, like, okay, sure, I'll just do less and it will be more successful. But the other extra stuff is actually really fun. Like, that's why I've been doing it, because it's super, super fun to go like, oh, this would be fun. I can share this here, and I can put this here, and I can do this, and I can start about this, and I can experiment with this over here. Like, it's really enjoyable and really fun. And I think maybe since that's new, it needs to not only get started, but the existing people there maybe need to like recalibrate. It's the same thing. You have a channel that you haven't posted on in a long time. I don't mean you, but like somebody has a channel I haven't posted on a long time. You post, and then people leave because they're like, oh, I forgot I was even into this channel from like a year ago, and no thank you. So I think some of it's just that, like, oh, it hasn't been super active. Now it's been more active, and people are like, oh yeah, no, I don't. It's just reminding them that they're not into it anymore, or whatever. But it can still lay this thing. So just like in Joel's situation, I can show up to his Patreon in February of 2021 and have years of stuff to go back and check out and see that, like, oh, every month there's going to be this new, like, it's like you're cleaning things out and then building what you want. And there's not many people there yet, but the people will show up, and the right people would then really enjoy that stuff. But that just hasn't happened yet. It's like you're setting up for a party, but nobody's showed up yet. But you're like, it's going to be really cool when everybody gets here. I don't know if that makes sense. You seem unamused.
No, that's not it. I'm just thinking it's different. I've never seen it, who showed me
I mean, it has
stuff.
nothing to do with his videos or anything, but it's just looking at somebody who went so hard at it for so long with so little return. And it's not like, well, I'll do that and then I'll have a blow up like he did, because that won't happen. But he didn't know that was going to happen either. And he was still doing it his way on his terms, the same way before that happened. And I think that's the thing that I admire.
Yeah, that's very admirable.
Not knowing where it's going to pay off.
Yeah, it's totally agree. I'm not being sarcastic. I'm serious. I think that's awesome. I tried doing that, and it's hard.
It's really. I mean, it took like 8 years in that case, and
yeah,
like I'm at a nice middle ground there, where it's not just trying to scrape things together. It's not blowing up like crazy, but it's middle class. It's everything that we talk about, and now I just want to keep that there. I just want to sustain that. Like we've talked about this. We're not trying to grow a team and get an office and big things. A year
from now, 2 years from now, I'd be surprised if what you're doing is what you're going to be doing then. Like, you don't know what's going to happen, what new ideas are going to come up with, like opportunities are going to come up, all these things. The difference between you and Joel is that Joel is an entertainment personality channel, which is like, you are, when it comes to what's mainstreamable on content or on YouTube, it's a personality, like it's entertainment based. Of course, yes, I can see that kind of a channel going from 0 to 1 million overnight because it's that kind of a channel. Whereas for you, you're an authoritative channel. You're an informational type of channel. And the thing with you is that, I'm not criticizing, just want to make that clear, but you're using a business model for the personality based, like get as many subscribers as possible, where what you have, the thing that makes you unique, is a skill set and a perspective and an experience and a thought leadership on that people are willing to pay for, like they're willing to pay a premium for. And of course, that's why you have an online course.
That's why there's potentially future courses.
Yeah.
That's why, there's...
But I think figuring that out a little bit more than worrying about, okay, this video is 8 out of 10 today. Like, I think that long term, what's going to, where the income is going to come from in terms of like, okay, hopefully we're still doing this freaking 20 years from now, right? It's I don't think it's going to be, okay, if every video hits number 1, that's, check the box. It's more of like, okay, how can we create sustainable sources of income based on your skill set?
I know it's tough. Right before this, I was reading a thing about the Nickelodeon time capsule. I don't know if you remember this.
I do remember this.
When they buried it in 1992.
I do.
I think it was 92 or 93. Apparently it's in Burbank now. I think they buried it in Florida.
It's like stickily. Buried it, I think.
So they buried. The reason I bring that up is because it's in Burbank. It's been multiple places over the years, and it's not supposed to be open till 2042, I guess. And I remember watching when they buried it, when Stickly buried it with his own pipe cleaner arms, and thinking, wow, that's going to be in there for till the 2040s. How crazy. And it lasted in that location for a couple of years, because then the studio shut down, and then they moved it somewhere else and somewhere else and somewhere else, and now it's in Burbank for a while. No doubt it will like, I don't know, be exciting to see it get opened in 20 years. But it's also, wow, that banked on Nickelodeon being around in 50 years or however long it was. And maybe oops, like, or at least in that form, maybe oops. And this kind of like, I don't know, something you said just sort of reminded me of that, of not knowing where things are going in the future. Because obviously you can't predict that, and couldn't predict being
Yeah,
where I
there was
am
this
now.
thing on
But
Twitter that I saw the other day that was like, someone, I can't remember what timeline they had given it, but they had said that YouTube's on its way out. And I was like, huh.
when was that?
I can't remember what year it was, 24. I don't know. I don't remember, so I'm not gonna, don't quote me on this, but they were implying that, with the rise of these other platforms and based on trends, whatever, they think that YouTube is on its way out. Which, I mean, I don't see, this is why I don't, I think if you create sustainable sources of income outside of YouTube, then YouTube can remain the creative, happy outlet that it always was for you.
I mean, I'm not looking to change things up. I'm just like,
Yeah.
I'm frustrated and this sucks right now. I actually like what I'm doing. My frustration is anything I perceive as a threat from stopping me from doing what I want to keep doing. If this was everything that I had to do and whatever last month's income was just the income every month forever, I'd be cool with that. Like, happy as a clam. And it's anything that I see that would make that not possible. That's what I dislike. I know that there's other ways to do stuff, but
You don't want to.
I don't want to. Like,
Yeah,
that
no, I
stuff
get
is
it.
that's not where I get my enjoyment from. And it's not scalable in the way that I want it to be. It's not creative in the way that I want it to be. Like, that's not, I don't, it feels like I have a boss and I don't like that.
See, that's what this is. So I really like that we have found our lanes, because I like it because, I don't know. I was telling you this before where I felt like I was so excited about your stuff because you were seeing momentum. And of course, like, I would rather help momentum than try to freaking figure out my situation. And then now that I've found my, my place, I feel my momentum, and we are just approaching it totally differently. I think it's freaking cool because it's like, it's related enough where, of course, we're into it, but it's so cool to pop in here and be like, well, how are you doing it? What are you seeing? Like,
Well, I agree. And
I love it.
I like that a lot. And I think what I need to learn is that, a lot of my frustration comes with just playing the comparison game, even with myself. Like, where was this number before? Where was this? How is somebody else doing it? And if I'm doing things my way and I'm fine with it and everything is fine, it's really hard and scary to feel confident in going, I will just keep doing this because it's fine. And then if somebody's doing something else and it's over here, it's hard for me. This might just be a me thing, but like, if you're one room over, I am very excited and like, where are you at? How are you doing? This is cool. Oh, I like the way you do things.
Yeah.
But it's also, if I see you pivoting, going like, no, this isn't working, meaning it's not working for you, so you're going to pivot over here. It's hard for me to not automatically feel as though, oh, that means I should be doing, like,
No.
I know, but that's, you understand though, like, why I would naturally, knowing me, why I would naturally feel that way or think that way, even though,
I mean, let me tell you, my whole thing for the past 2 years is, oh, look how Tom's doing a tutorial channel. Tom's like seeing success. Then, okay, 2019, double down. I didn't know this when I was doing it, but being able to look back, I tried to do what was working by observing, like, I observed.
well, that's
what was
so tricky
working.
with you because what's working for someone just isn't necessarily. That's why, like, I mentioned Joel's thing, and you're like, well, that's entertainment. That's not even what I'm looking at. I'm not trying to, like, I'm just gonna grow a big ass Patreon. Like, that's, which, by the way, if you want to support this show, patreon.com/Tombuck. But what it was just sort of looking at things that I like of how other people are doing it. So, like, there was something, I guess what I liked about that was it was very down to earth, authentic, approachable, and earnest, and like sincere. And I really liked that. So
Yes.
cool. When I see the constant ad reads, not
Yeah.
cool. So it's just sort of picking out, I like this, I don't like this, and then thinking, why don't I like this? Why do I like this?
Right.
And then trying to smash those
Create
together.
your own
But also
version.
knowing that, what is working for someone else might not be. That's just trial and error and experimentation. That's fun. I don't really mind that kind of a thing. But I don't know. I was having this thought earlier where I really like having YouTube discussions, whether it's venting or
Like with me or
with
just
anybody,
okay.
like it with you, with our friends, if whenever like something like VidCon happen, like talking to other people who do it is really fun to me. I love that.
Okay.
Most of those conversations, which are still fun, are dominated by kind of conversations like this, like, well, my growth is this, my subscribers are this, all this. It's sort of like those kinds of conversations, as opposed to the more of like the what you're doing, I don't know. I'm thinking of buying another camera, so that kind of a discussion, like, yeah, I was thinking of having a third camera here, and then someone going like, yeah, well, I did it. I found that third cameras were like, just almost like how people are doing what they're doing, like those kind of discussions I would almost rather have of that sort of thing. Like I would love to sit down and talk to someone just about like how they approach their thumbnails and how they do the design thing. Like, I'll go in your room and watch you use Canva to make a thumbnail and just be like, wow, I didn't know it worked like that. You could do that. That's so cool. Okay. I'm not using Canva, but it's still really cool. It's really fun to see somebody else do that. And that's not a like, yeah, well, my numbers were good. Oh, it's struggling. Oh, this, that. It's just sort of like, I liked it, like, which is funny when you talk about warping time things, because I only started my channel a year after yours. It's not like half as long. I haven't been doing the like taking it seriously, probably about half as long.
Yeah.
But-
I mean, that's what.
But having a channel, posting stuff, caring about it,
Yeah.
growing it, that kind of stuff. And so when we first met, I was just getting mine off the ground, and you were in full swing of like into your second year. And there was just that excitement of, I never asked you how many subscribers you have, or if we were doing a live stream, well, how many people are going to watch this? Like, irrelevant. It was literally just like so cool that we could do that. We could make something and share it, that you could like be creative, that you could have fun, that you could do a stream and someone could pop in. Like all of just the like, oh my gosh, I can't believe we can do this of it. And
Yeah.
I really, really, really loved that. And that like,
So what's changed, Tom?
I mean, for me, nothing really. Like, honestly, nothing. Like, I'm feeling funky right now because those indicators are there and they're scary. But also, like, as you know, there's a couple days every month where I just get kind of sad and depressed, and this could also just be that. So it's not like I'm not reevaluating anything. I'm not like, oh my God, this needs to do that. It's just like I'm sort of frustrated. This is kind of what's been feeding that frustration. That's sort of it. And the interesting thing is that my frustration is similar to what has historically been your frustration, and your energy and enthusiasm is traditionally what has been mine. And it'd be really nice if we could just have those at the same time. Like,
Yeah. I mean, well, this is why, I wouldn't be here so excited about my stuff if it weren't for you. You pushed me through and helped me and supported me. And
well, we're good at that, because you made, like, I watch how you did this video, so then I get I watch you do a live stream, and I get an itch to do a live stream and watch this video, and I'm like, oh, what about doing that? What about doing, like,
Right.
it's the same thing. Like, it all, like, and that's fun. Like, that I love. I'll do that kind of stuff all day, which is why I do get really happy and excited when, even prior to this video, because you had figured out a workflow where you were like, it's easy to make videos. There's no friction. You have plenty of topics. You're excited about it. You're confident in it. That was just really, really fun to watch and to be around. And it was really exciting for me to be around. And it made me then want to go, I'll jump in and now make a little extra thing and work on this and do that. And that's like super fun. So
Yeah.
yeah.
We're really good at that.
I like more of that and then less of the arrows and things. But I mean, like, I just wanted to be honest about how I was feeling. And this morning you were like, well, I want to talk about having fun on YouTube. And I was like, because I don't want to say it should
it's
be
not
fun, because it can be
always
anything.
fun.
But
Yeah, I mean, I think every creative endeavor is going to have stress.
yeah, no, I know.
Yeah.
I'm not, like I said, mine comes from operating out of fear. And that's where I operate from. Even, I mean, honestly, like even back in my school days, because it was, initially fear of finding a job, getting a job, fear of losing the job, getting tenure. Okay, cool. Moving into a new position, fear of losing that position, becoming stable in that position. Cool. Fear of having my schedule change. Like it's just always, and that's just how I work, and it sucks. And I wish I could change it. But as soon as I get something good, my first thought is, how is this going to get taken away from me? And I don't know why. That has been burned into my brain since childhood. But that's always what it is I can only, if something good happens, that means something bad has to happen. If I get something good, that means it's going to get taken away, or something else is going to get taken away. And I don't know why. I know that's not true. That's not a law of the universe. But for some reason, it's how my brain works. And it sucks. And I wish it didn't work that way. But it does. And now that is just sort of applying itself. It's not applying to like a day job anymore. So it's applying itself to this. Mm-hmm. And that's just what it is.
I think you just have to realize, like, you have to experience that these numbers don't necessarily mean, like, you're going to be okay next month. You're going to look at the numbers and you're going to be okay. You're like, oh, that wasn't as bad as I maybe was anticipating or whatever. And then 6 months from now, hopefully, you're going to be like, oh, okay, cool. Everything's fine. Well, I think you just need to see how this works. You just have to go through it.
That's why I mentioned some of the people that I've been fans of for a long time, because you mentioned...
Also, you totally took my fidget toy.
I did, the tape,
away
sorry.
From it. There's gaff tape on Tom's desk, and I was fiddling with it, and I put it back, and then he took it.
That was a gaff on my part.
Sure.
So what I was thinking was the channels that I've watched for a long time, some of them are kind of like what you said about my channel, where there's just sort of the limit. It's not going to be 1 million or hundreds of...
Right.
And so they've been doing what I've been doing, sometimes for 10 years or more.
Yeah.
The channels grow, but then in the past few years, it's sort of just been the same size. But they're still doing it. They're still like, it's still like clearly like they might have hit that plateau, that upper limit, but clearly like it doesn't mean that then they have like it. I'm firmly against the if you're not growing, you're dying thing.
Yeah.
Ironically. But
I mean, I think that YouTube is not going to change in the fact, in the fact that it enables artists to express themselves and distribute their art to the world. Like that's, regardless of whether it's your full-time income or not, it's still.
But in these specific cases, I'm talking about people who channels aren't really growing very much, or at least very fast. Views aren't increasing. If anything, they might even be decreasing because the channel's been around so long that there's so many inactive people on it and things are going down, but they're still able to sustain and keep going. It's not even a failure. It's just sort of what it is. Like you can't break the record every month probably. And that's definitely not sustainable. And that I'm bringing that up in a good way, as that's kind of a comforting thing to see. It's like, okay, you can still do it your way. You can still have everything going. Mm-hmm. You can just sustain. And that's literally like, I feel like it's a pretty modest goal to shoot for. Is just sustaining.
Exactly. We're not trying to be freaking, I was going to say, we're not trying to be millionaires. If it happens, it's not like I'm going to be like, no, but, I just want to keep what we have. Like, I want this
exactly.
forever,
Right. And anything that I think, any red arrow is a threat, and I just want to pummel it into the ground. That's all.
But it's not a threat in the way that you think it is. You just have to experience it.
Well, that's what I meant when I said there just isn't the data yet. Yeah. Because
you'll
I have data of channel growth, but I don't have it under this context and that kind of stuff. So I need to go through this and get through it so I can look back later and go like, yeah, that's what happens. It's like you get a cold or whatever, you get sick a little bit, and you're like, yeah, you get sick. You're sick for a few days and then you get better. Yeah. If you've never been sick before, you're going to be like, oh my gosh, what is happening?
Right, exactly.
But if you've been sick before, you're like, this sucks.
Yeah,
can't wait till it's over. Mm-hmm. That's kind of, I guess, the best analogy there. So, with that being said, if people want to see this amazing video that we have been talking about, knowing that chances are, unless they listen to this on the day it comes out, it'll probably already be out, where should they go?
Yeah, youtube.com/HeatherJustCreate. And if you do watch, or if you listen to this episode on Monday, I'm premiering it on Tuesday, May 4th at 12 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So I will, there's going to be a live chat. Hopefully Tom will be there too. But
Yeah,
it'll
it's
be
in the
us
calendar.
but then, if you listen to this after, it's just going to be a video on my channel.
Yeah, that'll be exciting. It's really, really good. It's, like I said, I've watched the whole thing twice. I'm sure it's not going to be the last times. It's real good. I'm very proud of you for making it.
Thank you.
I can't wait to put the things I learned from it into action. So thank you for listening. Hope you have a safe, happy, healthy, super fun rest of your day, rest of your week, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.